What if the Bible didn't just predict who the Messiah would be, but when he would come? We often hear about prophecies fulfilled by Jesus, but did you know there's one so precise it's like a divine countdown? Written centuries before Jesus was born, the book of Daniel gives us a mathematical timeline that points to a specific window in history. Today, we're going to unpack this incredible prophecy, do the math step by step, and see how it points directly to Jesus Christ. First, let's establish a foundational idea. God works on a schedule. The Bible is clear about this. Galatians 4:4 says, "But when the fullness of the time had come, God sent forth His Son." And Ecclesiastes tells us, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven." Jesus didn't just show up randomly. His arrival was a perfectly timed, appointed event. So where do we find this divine schedule? The key is in Daniel chapter 9. The angel Gabriel comes to Daniel and gives him this message: 70 weeks are determined for your people and for your holy city. Now, when we see the word weeks here, it's the Hebrew word Shabuah, which literally means a unit of 7. So we're not talking about 70 regular weeks. The Bible often uses a day for a year principle in prophecy, as seen in Numbers and Ezekiel. Applying that here, one prophetic day equals one literal year. So 70 weeks of years is 70 times 7, which gives us a total of 490 years. The prophecy then gives us a starting point. It says this 490-year clock starts from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem. When did this happen? We find the historical record in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 2. This is the decree issued by the Persian king Artaxerxes, which historians date to 445 BC. So we have our starting line, 445 BC. Now let's look at the timeline. Daniel 9 breaks it down further. It says, from that decree to Messiah the Prince, there will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Let's add those together. 7 plus 62 equals 69 weeks. So, the prophecy is saying that from the decree to rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah is presented to Israel, 69 prophetic weeks will pass. Let's do the math. We have 69 weeks, and each week is 7 years. So, 69 times 7 equals 483 prophetic years. This is the time between the decree and the arrival of the Messiah. But here's where it gets really precise. Biblical prophecy uses a 360-day calendar year, often called a prophetic year. We see this pattern in Genesis with the flood account and again in the book of Revelation. So, we need to convert our 483 prophetic years into days. 483 years times 360 days per year gives us exactly 173,880 days. Now, let's take that number of days and count forward from our starting point of 445 BC. When you do the complex calculations, accounting for leap years and the switch from BC to AD, where does that 173,880th day land? It lands precisely in the time frame of AD 30 to 33, at the very moment of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. This is the event described in Luke 19, when the crowds shouted, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord." Jesus arrived on the exact day the prophecy foretold the Messiah would appear. This also explains why there was such an intense expectation for the Messiah at that time. In John chapter 1, when Andrew finds his brother Peter, he says, "We have found the Messiah." They were looking for him because they understood Daniel's timeline was nearing its end. The prophecy doesn't stop there. What happens after the 69th week? Daniel 9:26 says, "The Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself." This is a clear reference to the crucifixion. The Messiah would be killed. Shortly after that, the prophecy says the city and the sanctuary would be destroyed. This was fulfilled in AD 70 when the Roman armies destroyed Jerusalem and its temple. This is critical. It means any potential Messiah had to appear, be cut off, and then have the temple destroyed after him. This timeline uniquely and exclusively fits Jesus Christ. This isn't just a coincidence, it's divine design. The Bible predicted where Jesus would be born, in Bethlehem. It predicted how he would die, as detailed in Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53. And, as we've seen, it even predicted when he would come. As Jesus himself said, all things written about him in the law, the prophets, and the Psalms had to be fulfilled. This isn't just about faith, it's about fulfilled, mathematical, historical fact. If God was this precise about the timing of Jesus' first coming, we can absolutely trust his promises about the future. His word is not vague, it is powerful, precise, and true. If this teaching strengthened your faith, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.